Welcome to Lesson 7 of the Ultimate Resilience Building, Health Optimizing 7-Step Guide to Performing Your Best, entitled Keep Your Spine Balanced. Tying it all together. So far, we have talked about creating peace, energy breathing, vital waters, high energy nutrition, dynamic movement and rest, and increasing your fitness. Doing these first 6 steps will help you to hold your upper cervical adjustments better, which means a healthier central nervous system and a better life, as you know. But did you know that chiropractic also helps you to get more benefit from these activities? Think about these 6 statements as they relate to the topics we've already discussed. Create peace. When your spine's not on your nerves, other people and other things won't get on your nerves. Energy breathing. We are all slouchers at heart, but upper cervical chiropractic will help you become more aware of your posture due to its proximity to the cerebellum and make your spine more comfortable so that you can sit up for longer periods of time so that you can breathe from your diaphragm better. Vital waters. A balanced nervous system helps by realigning the spine so that the range of motion improves, which allows for water to absorb into the discs, which prevents spinal disc decay and promotes healthy joints. High energy nutrition. Since you aren't what you eat and you are what your body can use, chiropractic helps you absorb the nutrients better and eliminate the poisons through a healthier central nervous system. Dynamic movement and rest. Upper cervical adjustments help to keep your biorhythms normal. That way, you're not exhausted during the day and restless when you should be resting. Increase fitness. Resilience comes from habit, and proper C1 or Atlas alignment makes you tough and fit, just like a perfect keystone maintains a Roman archway for thousands of years. If the first 6 steps are beautiful instruments, then keeping your spine balanced is the conductor or the orchestrator of the show. A balanced spine and nervous system is the best way to make sure you're properly adapting to changes in the internal and external environment, like knowing just how much to shiver when it's cold outside, healing from sickness and dis-ease, such as directing the clotting cascade after a paper cut on the finger, and growing, both physically and mentally, the best that you can. And it's the central nervous system that decides what normal is for any individual. Here's a further explanation. You have within you an inborn intelligence. This intelligence or force is constructive in nature, and it runs everything in your body 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, whether you're awake or asleep. Your central nervous system is what this intelligence uses for communication between your brain and body, and as long as this force can flow freely through your nerves, your body is able to adapt to most of the stresses that you encounter each day. And upper cervical adjustments help to restore the free flow of intelligence that was altered by the atlas subluxation, which is a misalignment of the spine causing stress on the central nervous system. This leads to a balancing of your muscles, skeletal system, and spine. Whereas most forms of healthcare, quote unquote, focus on treating disease or, at best, preventing disease, upper cervical chiropractic aims at creating health. In other words, the intent of upper cervical chiropractic is to add light to the body instead of just trying to get rid of the darkness. So what are you to do with all this information? Chances are you agree with it, but it's very strange and new to you because you've never heard of it before, and all you've heard is that health comes from the outside in as opposed to the inside out, and that we must be dependent on drugs or even vitamins, for that matter, to be healthy. I suggest that all you have to do is do what you're supposed to do. No more and no less. Hopefully you will find rest and challenge in that statement. I'll say it again. All you have to do is do what you're supposed to do. No more and no less. What this means is that you shouldn't feel negative pressure from not doing enough for your health, provided that you're doing well in the 6 checkpoints that we covered during the Creating Peace section, because you aren't called to do more than you're capable of doing. And it also means that you have a specific purpose that only you can achieve. And quite frankly, if you don't achieve it, you're letting yourself and others down, just like a weak link in a chain. As you know, our universe is made up of highly interdependent parts, both microscopically and macroscopically. From a statistical standpoint, one of the best coaches of all time said that what made him the best coach in college basketball history was his talent for taking good players who could fill specific roles and make a great team year after year. John Wooden of UCLA, who lived to be 99, won 10 national basketball titles over a 12-year stretch and won 88 consecutive games as a coach at one point. And he also sank as a player 134 straight free throws over a 46-game stretch. And he defined success as being the peace of mind which is the direct result of self-satisfaction in knowing that you made the effort to do your best to become the best that you are capable of becoming. Performing up to our own capability allows for better interdependence with family members, coworkers, friends, and even enemies, and better interdependence is closer to the fulfillment of a higher purpose according to the design of our Creator. And you might say, where the heck is he going with that? Well, let me tell you a story what I mean by fulfillment of a higher purpose. It's a story that brings the concepts of performing up to our capability and interdependence together. It was early February 2005, 3 days before opening my practice here in San Diego. My very first patient called on a Friday to set up for the following Monday. His name was Frederick, and he was a Marine who had gotten one of my business cards from his friend who was working at the Miramar Road gate on the military base. The funny thing is that I still remember to this day making a wrong turn on Miramar Road and explaining to the guard at the gate why I made a wrong turn, and I hope that giving him my business card would make him see that I did have some reason for being in the area because my clinic was nearby. Frederick came in on that Monday, and he was a difficult case because he had an antalgia, which is a leaning away, a postural leaning away from the pain. He was as close to crawling in as I had ever seen anyone for years entering my office. This was a problem for me because it was difficult to determine his true posture for measurements and taking x-rays. With a lot of grimacing on his part and probably a little sweat on my part, we got through the initial analysis. And because I had the time, I adjusted him on that same day. Afterward, he was a little bit puzzled over why I didn't do more to treat his lower back since that was the area of his complaint. But he did mention that he seemed to be standing up taller than he was an hour ago. I saw him a couple of days after that, and he was doing a little better yet. Over the next couple of weeks, Frederick's condition continued to improve, so much to the point that he said he was ready for his deployment. You see, he could have taken the medical leave with the condition his low back was in, but he sought my service, which was not covered by military TRICARE insurance, in order to get his function back so that he could put himself in harm's way for his country. Talk about living up to capability and teamwork, wow. But the best part for me is what happened 2 years later. One morning before the clinic opened, I was going through some files at the front desk and someone came up to the clinic door. The doors were still locked, so I was a little annoyed, but I grabbed my keys anyway. As I walked up towards the glass, this person looked familiar to me, but his name didn't come to my mind. Even though he had a mustache, longer hair, and had put on a couple of pounds, I realized that it was Frederick as soon as he said, "Mr. Petrick," like he always did, as if I was an officer of his. And I told him to come in, and he said that he just wanted to stop by and tell me something. Now, I don't remember exactly what his words were because my eyes were fixated on the objects that he had in his hands, but I do know that whatever he said was one of the most endearing things that I have ever heard. He said something like, I just wanted to let you know that if it weren't for you, I wouldn't have been able to go with my dog and sniff out bombs in Iraq for the past couple of years. Here's a flag that I flew for you over there, and here's a copy of a poem that I wrote. Those two objects are easily some of the most prized possessions that I have ever received, and they have a special place on the clinic wall. The title of the poem is Why We Fight to Die. Now, without going into a whole lot of detail, in the poem, he touches on the fact that he had seen some really bad things in Iraq, and that the thing that kept him focused was not on freeing oppressed people from a depressed country, which were his words, but it was for his family, friends, his God, and his country. Chances are, your purpose isn't to lay your life on the line for your country, and chiropractic isn't a means to help maximize your servanthood to the point of death. But you do have a story, and you do have a purpose. As a mother, a brother, aunt, employee, employer, athlete, fan, worker bee, or a leader, you do play an important role, and you're more likely to meet the demands and challenges of that role when your spine is free from interference. That is the simple message of Petrick Spinal Care. The philosophy of chiropractic is logical, and the science of upper cervical chiropractic is rock solid. Do you believe this to be true? If so, then I believe that you must make chiropractic the foundation to your family's health and wellness plan. Like dancing and clapping at a concert makes the band gladly play an encore, or reflecting and commenting on the beauty of a piece of art inspires the artist to inspire more people, you telling others about the reality that true health comes from the inside out through a healthy nervous system, and telling about the value of upper cervical chiropractic and the difference it makes in the lives of the people around you is what makes our hearts smile. Let's work together to make our community a better place, one mind and one spine at a time. One of the simplest things that you can do is offer this recording to your friends, but do it as soon as you can while the information is still fresh, within the next few days if possible. You'll be happy you did. Never doubt the power of the right message at the right time in someone's life. In the words of upper cervical pioneer and developer of the science and art of chiropractic, Dr. Bartlett Joshua Palmer, you never know how far-reaching something you think, say, or do today will affect the lives of millions tomorrow. Thanks for listening.